Okay, so it is the last day of October, so that means it's Halloween. Woohoo, one of the best days of the year. But that sadly also means that October is over. So that also means it's time for our October wrap up. So in the month of October, I only finished 3 books, but I've been sick a lot lately, so I haven't been reading as much, so I'm not gonna get too upset about it. But 2 out of 3 of those books were 5 stars, and one of them was 4 stars. So I'd say it was a pretty good reading month. And then I've almost finished a 4th book that I guess I'll give an honorable mentions, and we'll talk a little bit about it because I will be finishing it very early next month, and I'll be able to talk about it next month. So we'll jump right into my 4-star first, and then we'll talk about my 5-star, and then my honorable mention. So first, 4-star. So my 4-star book is the only book that I don't actually have with me because I read it for one of my book clubs. It is my only book club that I actually read the same book as everybody else. My other 2 book clubs are silent book clubs. And so I get that one as a library loan. So after I'm done reading it and I go to book club, I give the book back. So I don't actually have it in front of me, but I will include a picture of it. So that book was Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, I believe. I gave this book a 4 stars. It was pretty good. I usually really like murder mystery type books, but for some reason this one just didn't connect with me very much. It could also be that I was kind of sick when I read it and had a lot of brain fog, and it frustrated me. So that could have affected my rating a little bit. I would love to read it when I am well again and see if I think of it differently. I think I would wait and try to forget what I know about the story, because once you know kind of what happens, it gets rid of, the fun of it. So there's so many moving parts to the story. I give a lot of credit to her writing this book because it must have been so difficult to remember all the different moving parts of this story, and how many different characters she must have had to remember of they were here at this place at this time, but only these people knew, and all of this stuff. And it was such a cool storyline. So the concept of that book was that this woman goes back in time to prevent something from happening, but she's the only one that knows it's happening. And it's just, I'm not going to give any more detail than that, but it was just so cool to kind of see how the author just puts everything together and pieces everything together without making anything too obvious. And it was really cool to talk about it with my book club, because it was really cool to see what different people noticed and at what points everybody pieced stuff together. Because I was one of the few people that did not piece a single thing together until the very end, when they told you everything, very blatantly told you everything in black and white. And I was so interested to see how everybody else figured it out. They were like, oh yeah, well they said this, this, and this, and that's how I knew. I was like, well, I didn't even think about that. They said that, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. It was just very interesting. And I don't know. I didn't give it 5 stars just because there was something about it that just didn't really click with me. I don't know. I'm very much of a moody book writer, so that's kind of how it ends up being with me. I'm sorry if that frustrates you, but I'll move into my 5-star books next, and then we'll move on to my honorable mention. Okay. All of this talking is definitely just going to ruin my throat, but it needs to happen. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the second physical book that I finished, which was A Certain Hunger. This is one of my new all-time favorite books ever. I loved this book so much. The writing in it is so elegant and beautiful, and the kind of writing in this book is the kind of writing that makes me wish I would have gone back for my English degree that I had considered. It's just so gorgeous. Just the way that she describes things and says things is so amazing. Like, you can tell that she has a PhD in some kind of English by reading this book. And I saw the cover and like kind of read the back of the book, and I was like, oh, there's definitely going to be cannibalism in this book, right? And I was reading it and reading it and reading it, and I was like, I don't think there is. Like, it doesn't seem like there's going to be. That's so interesting. And then just out of nowhere, just like, boom, there it is. And I absolutely love it when an author does that with a story. I absolutely love it. I just absolutely adored all of the like little like psychological tidbits in this story. It was so fun to read. It's not the kind of horror where it like scares you, but it's the kind of horror that like, oh, I don't know, it like, it's more of like a tingle kind of thing. I don't know. It's what I call like a slow burn horror, which is my kind of horror. I love like a slow burn horror. Stephen King is really good at like the slow burn horror. I would say that Chelsea G. Summers is also really good at the slow burn horror. Absolutely loved it. So, she is absolutely amazing writer. I would absolutely recommend this book to every single person that likes horror and that likes these kinds of stories. So, my other 5-star book was on my Kindle, and this was actually an ARC that I read. This is releasing November 1st, so by the time you're watching this, this has released. This is, Christmas Criminal by Allie Williams. This is just a cute little Christmas romance, and I absolutely adored this. It was like the perfect combination of like funny and romantic. It was so just like cute, and it had all the right amounts of like family drama and like character hardships and like overcoming trauma. Allie Williams does the like overcoming trauma so well in her romances that you almost don't notice it. And I absolutely love that about her, because I love it when we take something like more realistic and we make it something that we don't even notice in a book, because it almost makes it like more acceptable. And I know a lot of people don't like something heavier to be in their books because they want to escape it. But I think that it's also important to have like representation in books, you know, because some people need to use it as a way to kind of, you know, not like get over it, but, you know, overcome it. And I think she did that beautifully. And I would 100% recommend this book. And I'm going to give it its own video. So watch for that. But it was a 5-star, 100%. I will link it in the description. But those were my 2 5-stars. I'm now going to talk about my honorable mention. So, my honorable mention, I have almost finished it this month. I literally have like less than 200 pages left, is Salem's Lot by Stephen King. I'm probably going to finish it tomorrow, which is so sad that I was so close to finishing it this month and just couldn't. But I think that this book is going to end up being a 4-star. So watch for it in next month's reading wrap up. But I won't talk about it since it's just an honorable mention. But he was almost in this month's, but he didn't quite make it. He will be in next month's. But very sad that he wasn't in this month's. This was my Halloween read behind A Certain Hunger. So, a very good Halloween read. Matches my Halloween costume. Me and my boyfriend are being vampires with our cat, who is being a bat because he is an all-black Halloween kitty. So, that's very cute. But yeah, it is Halloween at the time of this video, so I hope you had a happy Halloween. I hope you have a good November, because it is November 1st when you are watching this. Definitely go check out Christmas Criminal by Allie Williams. I have also read and reviewed her book, Happiness in Paris, I believe it was called. I will also link that one in the description. But that one was also very good. She's a very good writer. I would definitely recommend her books. But Christmas Criminal was so good. Add it to your Christmas book list. So, so good. I will see you next time. I am hoping we will get a little bit more reading in November. We'll see. We'll definitely finish Salem's Lot in November, at the very least. So, we'll see you in November. Goodbye.